In this week's Q&A, we got 5 good questions that Debbie asked during breakfast the other day. I think I told you about it. And let's go take a look at what she had to ask me. Let's go. I'm Tom Kvichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And we got some questions that we're going to cover today, and there are some really good questions about how I started in model railroading long time ago. So let's get going with it right now. If you like what you see here and would like to take that extra step to support us, become a patron. Go to our Patreon page and support us. There you will receive additional content and additional perks. Thank you for your support. Oh, I'm not gonna film you, baby. I'm just gonna do a selfie right here with you sitting on the step behind me. No, I'm not gonna film you there. No, you don't have anything to worry about. No. Okay, Debbie's the star of the show today. All right, now she asked me a bunch of questions the other day while we was eating breakfast again, and she comes up with some pretty good questions there. And let me see, what was it? What was the first thing you ever bought? Now this is going back, I must have been maybe 10 years old, and every day I used to walk to school. It was almost a mile to school, and about 3 blocks away from there was a hardware store, and during the Christmas time they always had train stuff in the back. So I took my allowance and I went down there, and I looked around for maybe, I don't know, it was a long time. It could have been an hour, it could have been 2 hours, but they had maybe 4 pieces of rolling stock, and I couldn't decide what I wanted. But I ended up deciding on a floodlight car. Now we're talking about American Flyer S-scale, and this is a floodlight car. I'll put up a picture of it here. It's as close as I could find to what I had. It's not exactly the same, but we're talking about maybe 58, 59, 1960. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but I wasn't quite 10 years old, and I walked over a mile to go to Shinks Hardware. But that was her first question, number 1. Number 2, she said, why HO? Well, around the same time, maybe a year later or 2, my dad bought me for Christmas or birthday, it doesn't matter, because my birthday is December 24th, so I got an American Flyer HO scale train set. Now this had the molded plastic ballast and ties all together with it, and that was really something great for me. It was HO, it was easy to handle. It was better than the S scale. That was kind of heavy, and he only let me have that out around Christmas time. Once he took it down from the tree, then we'd put it down in the basement, and we had a 4x8 sheet of Homosote down there, and laid that out and put everything down there, and we had 2 turnouts, and I put some mountains in there and everything. But anyway, when I got the HO stuff, then I really got into business. I started buying some HO tracks and some other stuff, and I put it underneath the steps. It fit perfectly under there, a 4x8 piece, and I had a double loop going around, and I had trestles and everything, and mountains and waterfalls and stuff, and I still have the trestle set. I pulled it out in one of my other videos. And going back talking about the Shinks, in one of my first videos I did on Tom's Trains and Things, I talked about going to Shinks Hardware Store, and I'll put up a little clip of that on there also, because you'll see how bad I was a year ago doing videos here. Dad had an American Flyer that got out during Christmas, and eventually it ended up in the basement and on a piece of 4x8 Homosote, and we ran it around in a circle. We had 2 turnouts for it, and I started to get some buildings. I used my allowance, and I went down to Shinks Hardware in Duquesne, and sat down there for maybe hours on end just looking at the rolling stock and wondering what I could buy for $1, because the rolling stock was $1 each, and I had like $3 in my pocket, and that's where I got started. Wow. She's still sitting there on the steps waiting for me. Okay, number 3 is why not foam? Well, I did a video on the foam before, and basically here the only thing I could find was the 1 inch thick, or maybe that's 1.5 or 1.3 inches, maybe they call that 2 inch thick or whatever. But anyway, it's 2 foot by 2 foot and whatever that is, inch. But that costs $6 right there. So it's really not available in this area. But all my life, I started out with screen and plaster. I mean, I'm talking about metal screen, not the vinyl screen that they have now. But I started out like that, using that stuff. But I got used to it. I'm not using screen anymore. I'm using cardboard. I'm using paper. I'm using that way, plaster cloth. And you can get this anywhere. In fact, I got this at AC Moore, really cheap. And it's all the same. No matter where you buy it and what brand name it is, it's all made at the same place, and it's all the same stuff, except they did come out with some stuff. I think this brand right here, this is Scenorama. They came out with the cloth that looks like cheesecloth. It was really difficult to work with unless you had a flat surface, because I don't know if you're familiar with cheesecloth, but it is a lot thinner than the regular cloth that they use for the plaster cloth. But anyway, that's why I don't use foam, is because I've always been using plaster of Paris, plaster cloth. And as you can see over here, let me get over here and see if I can get underneath there. I got cardboard strips underneath there, and the plaster cloth, and then the plaster of Paris over top of that. And Debbie's over there and doing her favorite thing, laughing. She's at the bottom or the top of the steps. That's right there, and she's laughing while I'm doing this video. Okay, but anyway, that's why I don't use foam. Mainly because, and especially down here, because it's not available. I can't get the real big, thick stuff and the big sheets. It would cost me a fortune to have it down here. So that's why not the foam. That's why I use the plaster cloth and everything else. And everything on here, all the scenery there is plaster cloth with, and this I have to do over there. But anyway, no foam for me. But I do have those 2 pieces of foam that I did that I'm going to put over here, because this is the piece that I have to put over here, because this is the piece that I have to remove because of that right there, the access to the attic. I have to have that opened up. Now, that was number 3. Number 4, okay, layout, hardest and easiest task. By now, I'm 66 going on 67 years old. Everything is easy, all right? I've been doing it for such a long time. Everything is easy except for crawling underneath, getting down on my hands and knees and going underneath there and trying to work above my head. I have one of those little seat cushions that I prop up against the wall that I use whenever I'm underneath there. But that part is the hardest part, is getting underneath and trying to get up there and do something like that, or bending over something because I got a bad back to begin with, and I can't bend over and reach over and work on something for more than maybe a minute or two without my back hurting me for a week after that. But anyway, that's the hardest, the easiest part. Everything else is easy for me. Even this right here. This has become pretty easy too, the water. Now this is some water that I took out. And this is the Woodland Scenics that you just pour down. And I think Beck just did a video on his where he was using this stuff on there also. But that right there I used to have right here. But I did this whole section right there. This whole creek right here. There goes your phone, baby. I did that whole thing with the Woodland Scenics. The stuff that you pour in there. But anyway, everything seems pretty easy now. Debbie's laughing because I'm in my shorts.
Yeah.
The best thing, okay, now bringing up to the number 5. Now here's number 5. Most enjoyment doing YouTube videos. All right. Now, the reason Debbie was laughing because I'm here in my shorts doing this video, and all you could see is, you know, from the chest on up. But anyway, I like doing YouTube videos because I have a lot of information in my head, and I want to get it out to everybody that wants to know how to get started or anything else. I've done all this stuff here, and to a lot of people this is hard, and I just want to get the word out there that, you know, how to get it done. I had a hard time finding out myself. I did it the hard way. There were no videos. There was no YouTube. There was nothing when I started out. I started out in the late 50s. And there was nothing. You couldn't even there wasn't even anything on TV. So you just trial and error. I picked up a magazine every once in a while and see what was on there. So that's why I like doing the YouTube videos, because I want to share the information that I know, and I want to let other people know about it. The main reason that I started my channel was to show videos of my layout and other things that I was doing on my layout. But then I realized that, you know, there are people out there that need to know how to get started. That's why I started the Model Railroading for Beginners. I concentrate on the beginners. I was absent from the hobby for a long time. I tried to build layouts, and you know, just life got in the way. I had just too many things to do, and I just couldn't get that layout going. I'd put something up in the basement and start working on it, and then you know, I just got too busy with other things. I mean, my work, my family, all that stuff came first before the railroad. And then finally, when it was getting close to time to retire, then Debbie said, "Why don't you pull that stuff out of the attic and out of storage?" And I did. She said the same thing about the wall, but she was kidding about the wall. She said, "Why don't you tear that wall down?" And I said, "Okay." And so I just tore the wall down and made more room. But anyway, I like sharing my knowledge. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that version of Q&A with Debbie and I. Well, by the time you see this, my daughter will be here with my 3 granddaughters, and we'll probably be out doing something either at the pool or at the beach, or having some good pizza or some kielbasa and sauerkraut. We'll pick some up at the Polish deli down in Naples and have something good to eat. But anyway, If you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And what else is there? Oh yeah, you could ding that bell. And when you ding that bell, you'll be notified whenever a new video comes out. And leave a comment down below, because you know I like to read your comments, and these comments are going to go in the Q&A if you ask me some questions. This is going to be the last Q&A for a week. I won't have anything up after this until the next Shout Out Monday evening. I'm already prepared, so that one will come up the next Monday. We'll see you when I get back. Bye-bye.